and the man. Because what happens is when you step in that pulpit, the sermon isn't the only thing that comes in the pulpit. You come in the pulpit. You come in the pulpit. Okay? And so it's not a matter of, there it is. It's not a matter of, again, the holding of the ear. It's not a matter of how you project. It's not a matter of you going up and down the scales. You also have to think in terms of the preacher. You, what's inside of you? Because what is inside of you, it's what's coming out in that pulpit. What is inside of the preacher is coming out in the sermon. If pride is in the preacher, it's coming out in the sermon. If insecurity is in the preacher, it's coming out in the sermon. If, arrogance is in the preacher, it's coming out in the sermon. If humility is in the preacher, it is coming out in the sermon. And this is why sometimes what happens is when people listen to a preacher, they totally sometimes get thrown off course and never really hear the essence of the sermon, because there are some disturbing things that are going on with the preacher. I just said something right there. There's some stuff going on with the preacher, and so now you throwing off. So now the fact that you mad is coming out in the sermon. And oftentimes, because we don't learn this, what people think is that when people hear the preacher, we don't hear all that. Can I get an amen? Can somebody type amen? Because you have heard preachers preach, and guess what? All of this mess was coming out from that sermon. Please put an amen on that screen right now. I need you to type right there, amen. And so this is why Mr. Bug said we also have to deal with, and I'm going to use that word y'all don't often like to hear, the character of the preacher. We have to make sure that we are forming the character of the preacher. And this is one of the things that I like. And let me say this, add this too. This is one of the reasons why it's important to have a pastor. Lord, I just said something right there. Because what do I often say pastors do? Pastors deal with your what? Your character. And particularly when it comes to preachers. You will notice that pastors are much more aggressive in their relationship when it comes with a preacher, because the pastor understands that the preacher, whatever the preacher is saying in that sermon, is coming out. Whatever is in the preacher is coming out. Whatever is in the preacher is coming out. Let me go a little further. He says we need to craft the persons themselves. The fact is that much of our communication takes place at the level other than words. So we're not just looking and listening to words coming out of your mouth. Yes, you flow real good. Your vocabulary is real strong. You can flip. I mean, you got people who is just smooth with words. Am I talking right? You just got some people that just know how to flow when it comes to words in that pulpit. But I'm going to say it like they used to say back in the day. The old saints would say, there's something going on right there. Sometimes, can I give you this? Can I give you this Facebook? Can I bless you with this Periscope? Sometimes when you're listening to a preacher, sometimes it's a matter of what you don't hear. What you don't hear coming from the preacher. What am I saying? Sometimes what you don't hear is the authenticity of the authority of the word. Lord have mercy. What are you saying, preacher? If you have not had no prayer time, if you have not had no devotion time, if you have not spent any time with God, it's going to be absent from the sermon. You got the words, you got the flow, and you projecting, and you going up the scales, and everybody is excited. But there's a group of us who are sitting there who know, just like Samson knew, something is missing. Something is missing. Somebody put that word up on the screen already. Your consecration, your devotion, your worship time, your prayer time, your devotion time, your study time is absent in your delivery. Lord have mercy. Y'all thought I was going to come on here and I was going to give you all of that stuff about the sermon. But you know what I wanted to do? I want to lay this foundation, and I'm going to really go more into depth with this on Monday night. But I want to lay the foundation to help you to understand that the preachers, and I'm going to say it like William Mounce says it. I think his first name is not William Mounce. That's my Greek book. What's that man? Oh, God. He has all of those books that deal with prayer. Oh, his name is on the tip of my tongue. It's all of those books are right before me. Hold on, I got to get it. Somebody may put it on the screen, but I want to get it because his books always bless me. Let me see. When it deals to prayer. Anybody put it on the screen? Oh, man. Yes, God. Come on, Lord. William Murray, thank you. His first name, I think, is William. That's what made me say Mouse. It's William. Ian Bounds, that's who it is. Ian Bounds. And Murray has good stuff, too. Thank you, Jeree. Ian Bounds. Ian Bounds says this, and I never forgot it. He who plows in prayer plows in the pulpit. My God. My God. Anybody that you hear that can pray, can preach. And when I say preach, I'm not talking about hollering and screaming. I'm talking about power in the pulpit. All you have to do is listen to a person pray, because that will tell you the power that's going to come in their delivery, the power that's going to come in their sermon, the power that's going to come in the authority of what they say. Plowing in prayer. So here it is. Here it is. This is why I don't want to start with just getting you all excited and, teaching you how to rev back and giving you 3 points. This is not about sermon construction. I got stuff on my website about that. This is not about this point, that point, this point. We got all kind of teaching in regard to that. What this is about right here is the preacher. Talk to me about that preacher. Talk to me. And so what pastors do, let me give you a little bit, give you an inside scoop about pastors for those of you that got issues with your pastor because your pastor isn't letting you preach. There could be a reason that the pastor's not letting you preach is because the pastor is paying attention to your life, because your life determines what's coming in that pulpit.